philosophical evening so far, so I'll continue on that path. Ladies and gentlemen, long weekend is a time of thinking for me, a time of reflection when I think about how I got here in my life, why I got here, what my learnings are and what my values are and how it's changed throughout my life. Then I decide on what I want my future to look like, and I put an action plan to get there. As part of that process, I analyze what constitutes me as a person, us as a human species, how this civilization got to where we got to, and what the future holds for all of us. I have identified 8 powerful words that answer to my questions: why things happen and how they happen. And those 8 words describe the driving forces behind our civilization. And that's basically how we got from, the monkey type people to the educated, being able to write and all those technology we have today. So I have prepared I have ranked those powerful words based on their difficulty. So there is something here for everybody, starting from easy, medium, and going to hard. So everybody could give it a crack at their right level. Something here for the beginners and for the experienced people. Madam Timer, could I please, Andrea, green light at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 15 seconds, and a red one at 1 minute 30 seconds. We'll have a shorter table topic session today due to some extra speakers today. Ellie, would you like to open up the... Pick one. I think you are the only one who can do hard Yes, take that one. That's
super hard, super hard.
Anything you'd like to say about the subject, about your thoughts, experiences, views, your friends' experiences, and how it's affected your life and other people's lives?
Can I just move this thing? Friends, how I so wish this was a 7-minute speech. The unselfish, loyal and benevolent concern for the good of others, and how this has affected my life. A long time ago, probably more years than I actually want to own, I used to work with an organisation, and there was a lady and her name was Wendy. And Wendy taught me about totally unselfish love. You see, she was working with street kids. I didn't want to work with street kids because I just didn't think I could communicate with them. So I worked with all the really cool, nice kids out of middle-class homes whose needs were just as real. But for Wendy, her heart beat every single blood pump for these kids. And never did it become more crystal clear to me than one day when I saw Wendy sitting in a gutter with her hands in her head and her face awash. And I said to her, "What are you doing down there?" And she couldn't speak. So I said, "Oh, darling," and I sat down beside her. And she said, "Ellie, I can't help her anymore. She doesn't want help, and I can't force it on her. But it makes me hurt from the inside out." That's the beginning of the story. But that was the moment that I saw unselfishness that would change the world.
Thank you, Ellie. That was an excellent start to our table topic session. And The next person is David Petula. Would you like to...
Other medium.
Anything you'd like to tell us about your powerful word?
My word is freedom. A state of being imprisoned or enslaved.
No, not being in prison.
No. Some people get imprisoned by technology, their work environment, their lifestyle, their relationships. And you think, how can I get out of this state? How can I improve myself? How can I be freer? And I found, I'm an engineer by trade, and you get locked in that same old thing on the same old day. And it's not as in trapped in with bars or walls. It's a style of life. You get up in the morning, go to work, answer emails, faxes, whatever. 5 o'clock, get in the car, go home, go to bed. It's like the doctor all over again. Now sometimes you just think, I'd like to go and cut grass, or go and wander the fields. Freedom. That's what I think is real freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Dad. I actually, when I was thinking about it, I thought about exactly the same thing. I've changed a number of jobs in my life until I finally found a job that I feel free enough to be who I am without having to worry about the street boss and all those kind of things. Callum, would you like to be the next one? If you could to choose from, anything you like to tell us, you pick the easiest.
Build, create, is to construct something by putting parts or material together. Madam Table Topics, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests.
Thank you.
Build and create. I think about what I'm doing right now, just before I transition into a new job. I'm finishing my time with the band, and we're doing a recording of a CD. And in a way, it is building and creating from a whole lot of music that we're performing. However, as David Batchelor mentioned about technology, we're using technology for it with a whole lot of recording equipment, and oh my God, it's so stop-start. It is technology, I say, used to be good, but I feel technology is now our worst enemy, in a way. Why? Because we keep on having to redo this music over the last 2 weeks, and it's so frustrating. When the CD comes out, eventually it'll sound great, but it'll be full of a lot of bits of this, bits of this, bits of that. However, the general listener won't know, but the people doing it like myself will know. So in a way, building and creating is a little bit, reminds me of doing what we're doing for the CD. So I look forward to getting that over and done with and actually starting my new job, which is going to be working in the courts as a security officer and a control room operator. However, and that's another way I think of building and creating. So I look forward to that. But building and creating, well, that's my thoughts on it anyway. Matt?
Thank you, Callum. Yeah, I thought the way I ranked them, I thought how things happen would be the easiest, because those are the typical interview questions, like for people to show what they've done and how they've done. And why questions are never asked at the interview early, as you might know. And those are interesting questions, because there are many different ways of how, but there's only few whys in our lives. So, the next person, Constance, would you like to come up and...
Oh, this is a good one. Courage, the ability to act rightly in the face of opposition, shame, scandal, discouragement, or personal loss. Thank you, Table Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, courage. Courage it's so important, and I feel like I'm kind of demonstrating it here. Actually, I've been listening to a book recently which talks about courage, and it says how you have to show vulnerability, and that's one of the strongest forms of courage, and I think that's really true. And yeah, you need to have trust. To gain trust, you have to have courage to show your vulnerability, and I think anything that's worth doing usually requires some courage, especially when it is going against the social norms. And I think that it's one of the most powerful things, because if you can show courage, other people will show courage. Usually they'll mirror that back to you, which is a really beautiful thing, and it's something that I've definitely seen in my life. Thank you very much.
It was a great speech. Well, I certainly displayed some courage when I took a flight in Moscow, going to Auckland, New Zealand without speaking any English. Well, here I am, doing tabletop 10 years later. The last person that doesn't have a role today, Kent, would you like to come up? And you haven't got any...
I would have liked an easy one, but Initiative. The ability to assess and initiate things independently. Met in Table Topics, fellow Toastmasters. I think using your initiative is a really important skill to have. I guess, I have about 7 staff that work for me, and the staff that really do a good job are the ones that use their initiative. They go out there and they'll look for things to do. They'll go out to the gym and they'll make sure that everything's tidy, put away, go and talk to people, and make sure that everyone feels comfortable. If they're not using their initiative, they generally just sit behind the desk, go on Facebook, and it doesn't give the customer a good feeling that they're valued. And so when we look at staff and stuff, we look at people that use their initiative, and it definitely makes the environment and workplace better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. A year ago, just my little reflection on initiative, I asked my boss, what can I do for us to get a bigger market share? He didn't have an answer for me. But a few months later, I got a new role and new responsibilities.
Yeah.
Thank you.